What up, donkeys? Jack Hayes here with jackhayes.com, and here going to play some blackjack with you today. This is just a simple iPad app, multi-deck, stands on soft 17. Blackjack pays 3-2, so a pretty good multi-deck game. I'm starting out with a $5,000 bankroll. We're going to play just $10 flat betting per hand, and I will discuss why I'm making the moves that I'm doing. My decisions are going to be based on basic strategy. I have basic strategy published on my website, jackhayes.com. You can also see basic strategy on any site that has blackjack, including the Wizard of Odds, who has a very comprehensive gambling site with tons of advice on how to play every game. Here we have a 15. The dealer has a 7. We're going to hit. Whenever the dealer has 7 through ace, you're always going to want to hit a hard hand up to a 17 or higher. We had a 15, the dealer had a 7, so we hit. You're going to hit every hard hand until you get 17 or higher when the dealer has a 7 through ace. So here we got a 4 for a total of 19, and we're going to stand. Dealer had a 4 in the hole and made a 19. So unlucky. Keep going. Dealer has an ace showing, never take insurance. Never take even money. Even money is the same thing as insurance. If a dealer asks you if you want to take insurance, always say no, unless you're counting cards, which if you're counting cards, you probably aren't watching this video. So we are not going to take insurance. Dealer wins. Dealer had blackjack, so unlucky again. Hard 20, pair of 10s. You never split 10s. Whether those 10s are a pair or not. You do have the option of splitting, let's say, a jack and a king, but we are not going to split. We are going to stand. Here we go. 16, 17. That's a win. So I do suggest that you take a look at the basic strategy charts. I also have some videos and some SoundCloud audio tracks that you can listen on shuffle if you want to learn blackjack in your sleep or just in your car. Whatever. Here we have a stiff hand. A stiff hand is between 12 and 16, and the dealer has a low card showing. Whenever you have a stiff hand, you usually want to avoid busting. There are 2 exceptions to that, and we'll get into that later, but we are going to stand because we don't want to bust when the dealer has that low card showing. The dealer had a 9 in the hole, had a 14, they're forced to hit. They got a 10, they busted, and that's what we were hoping for. That's what you hope for every time you stand on something less than 17. The only way you can win on a hand that has less than 17 is if the dealer busts. So here we have a 13, that's a stiff hand, but we always keep hitting until we hit 17 or more. We're going to hit now. That is because the dealer has a 10 showing, we have a 16. We're going to hit one more time, and we got a 19. That's pretty good, but the dealer has a 10 in the hole, we lose. So we're still back at even right now, so we're going to hit deal. 19, always stand on 17 and above for hard hands, so we're going to stand. Dealer made too many. So one quick tip on how to total up all the hands is to add them up and then anticipate what you need to get a perfect 21. And if you get over that number, don't bother trying to figure out what the total is, just assume that you're over that total and that you've busted or the dealer has busted. Here the dealer is showing an ace. We have the option of insurance, and as I told you before, we never insure, so don't. Dealer doesn't have it, we stand. And it doesn't make a difference if you have a 20 or a 19 or if you have blackjack. You just never want to insure a blackjack. And I have a YouTube short on this, I have a TikTok on this, I have a blackjack quiz video on this, but never insure a blackjack. Never take insurance, never take even money. So here we're a little bit up. Here's a stiff hand against a dealer, a low card. Stiff hand again, 12 through 16. Dealer low card, a dealer 2 through 6 showing. We are going to stand. Hope the dealer busts. 13, that's perfect 21. Dealer wins. And I'm bringing you this advice as someone who played blackjack since about 1989. Someone who card counted from the mid 90s to early 2000s, and as someone who worked for 2 online gambling companies for over 7 years. Just take a look at any basic strategy chart. It's all based on simulations and calculations and permutations and combinatorics and all that. So please trust me, or at least trust the websites out there that tell you how to play basic strategy. Here we have a 20. Dealer has a low card, which is irrelevant. Just stand. Dealer makes a 17. So here we have a stiff hand of 12. The dealer has a 4. Having a 12 is the only time you risk busting against a dealer low card, but it's only against a dealer 2 or 3. So here the dealer has a 4, so we don't risk busting. We're going to stand. That's 19. The dealer wins, so we got unlucky. And we're going to deal. I have a stiff hand. The dealer has a low card. We're going to stand. 14, 15, too many. So anytime you have lower than 12, you're always going to hit or double. In this case, we have a 9. You usually only double against low cards. You would double against 3 through 6 with a 9. Here, we're just going to hit. 15. At this point, we're going to keep hitting until we hit 17 or higher. So 15, too many. Dealer had a stiff, unlucky. So ace 6 versus 3, it's a soft hand. This is actually a double down situation. Ace 6 versus 3, 4, 5, and 6, you double down. Ace 6 versus 2, you hit. And ace 6, 7 through ace, you're gonna hit as well. This is a double down situation, so let's double. So when you double on a lot of the soft hands, you have kind of 2 ways to win. You're not as fortunate as when you have a 10 or 11. When you have a 10 or 11, 4 out of 13 times you're going to get a face card or a 10, and that's going to give you a good hand. But with the ace 6, you're as equally likely to get a bad hand as you are to get a good hand. So, if you get a 10, you still have a 17. That's not great. But if you want a 21, you have an equal chance of getting a 21 as you do of getting a 12. So you're hoping that the dealer busts, but when the dealer doesn't bust, you're hoping that you catch a good card to improve your hand or to get a better hand. And that's the reason for doubling on a lot of the soft doubles. So let's go. 15 versus 7, you have a stiff hand. You're going to hit until you get 17 when the dealer has a 7 or higher. Here we go. 21, dealer has 17. And I do love blackjack. It's actually one of my favorite gambling games. It's probably the first game that I really fell in love with. And I've probably played hundreds of hours of blackjack. We're going to hit this. And I've studied hundreds of hours of blackjack, and I've read several dozen books on blackjack. So here we have a 13, that is a stand. But I don't like blackjack as much anymore. I've found other ways to gamble that have brought me more enjoyment over the years. 15 versus 6, that's a stiff. The dealer has a low card. We are not going to hit. We're going to stand, hope the dealer busts. 8, 11, perfect, 21. Stiff hand versus a high card. We're going to hit till we get 17 or higher. Got our perfect 1. So I think I just got some free chips. I don't know how many. I'm gonna have to reconcile that at the end of the game. Stiff hand versus a 10. We're gonna hit until we get 17 or higher. 15, too many. So let's go. Another potential soft double versus a dealer low card. We are going to double in this case. Ace 5 and Ace 4 play the same exact way. You double against 4, 5, 6, and you hit everything else. So we're going to double here. So here's a case where the dealer made a hand, but we didn't catch a good card. So that's why we lost. But it's worth it because the dealer does bust so much with 4s, 5s, and 6s. So here's a 12, stiff hand versus 9. We're going to hit until we get 17 or higher. Hit. 20, good. Stand. Dealer has an ace showing, never take insurance, never take even money. Hit don't, they don't have it. 12 versus 7 through ace, hit until you get 17 or higher. 16, too many. Dealer had nothing. Another ace for the dealer. Don't insure. 17. Stand. Dealer got 21. So 13 stiff hand versus a dealer low card, you stand. You do not risk busting. Like I said before, you should memorize the hands that you do risk busting. There's only 2 exceptions. 12 versus 3, 12 versus 2. This is a 13, we're gonna stand. 6, 16, and the dealer busts. So what we hoped would happen did happen. Pair of 4s versus 8s. Pair of 4s, you do split against 5 and 6 when you can double after splits. And in this app, I do believe you can double after splits, but the splitting only happens against 5 or 6. So the dealer has an 8, we treat it like an 8, and we hit. We have a 12, hit until you get 17 or higher. That's too many, bust. Dealer had it. So we'll play a couple more hands. I think we're doing all right. So 10, 10s and 11s, you want to double down when the dealer is showing something that is less than your total. So if you have a 10, you double against 9 or lower. If you have 11, you double against 10 or lower. You don't double against an ace. That's the only exception when you have an 11. So here we have a 10. There are lots of 10s in the deck. We're hoping to get a 20. We're going to double down. Got a crappy card, and the dealer had it, so we lost. Stiff hand 14 versus 10, hit till you get a 17, let's go. 19, that's higher than 17, so we stand. 16, dealer has too many. So we've hit the cut card, and maybe we'll stop at this point. Stiff hand versus 6, don't bust, stand. 9, 13, too many. So we end on that high note. We have a $190 profit. I don't know how much of a bonus we got earlier in the game. We won maybe 4 or 5 hands in that shoe more than we lost, so pretty good result. I just want to give you a real quick introduction into blackjack if you've never played before, the reasoning behind some of the decisions that you make. I will do some more videos like this. This is going to be the first one. Hopefully we run into more interesting scenarios in other hands, more splitting. The problem with playing in an app is that you don't get some of the edge cases that you would normally get, especially the splits. So if you enjoy this content, remember to like and subscribe. I'm going to have a lot more of these blackjack videos in the future. Always gamble responsibly, never play 6 to 5 blackjack, and peace out, donkeys.